this is an installment that was really special for me. Um, this was a period in my life where I really got to work with some incredible people, and I made many friendships. At the time of working at Northcliff, it was just before I went to England, and it was a bit of a nervy time for me because I'd lost the job expecting to go overseas, and then that date had been pushed back, and some really good people came through for me. Um, and I managed to work at Pirates and at Northcliffe, and I made many good friends there. I think of people like Neil, Darren Jordan, Chelsea, Craig Carros, really great people who became more than just colleagues, but really close friends. Um, Dee, um, obviously knowing her from my time in Northcliffe, and then having the opportunity to work um, at weeks at national weeks, and always to see her. She's become such a great friend to me. Well, it was really awesome. I love the spirit of Dee. So getting the opportunity to speak to her was fantastic, and the opportunity to work with Vincent and what Vincent has become in rugby pleases me so much at such a young age, um, with such a great outlook and a great personality. I believe that the best thing about coaching is not only the opportunity to work with great talent, but to work with great personalities. And in Vincent is one of the greatest characters, the personalities I've ever worked with. Getting to chat to Michael in my return um, from England, I got to go to work at Parktown, and Parktown was incredible for me. I'm not even going to try and mention the people of Parktown because there are too many people, and this is like my third take of this, and every time I start to speak and mention names, I miss out names. There are so many people at Parktown, and I hope that I have expressed and continue to express how much the people of Parktown mean to me. Um, I even having returned to Westville, I still speak of many of the things that were happening at Parktown, um, that that really ignited a love of Parktown and the people of Parktown to me, and the Parktown boys. And even though my my school slogan is in Septonity System, the Westville one, I carry arise in my heart, Surgite, and I don't ever see that fading away. So thank you to the people of Parktown for all you did for me, and it was great to get an opportunity to speak to Michael as well. I hope you enjoy this installment.
Right, welcome back, everybody, to another installment of Coach's Corner with Jabs and Xavier signing Emma. And today we've got three special individuals. We've got Vincent, we've got Madosh, and we've got the old possum D. And it's so lovely to have you guys over here. It's fantastic. I think at some point or another I've touched base with Vince through his brother Madosh when he came to speak at Trinity Rugby Dinner, and obviously Dean has had a large impact in my life in sport with the Lions, as a physio, as well as at Trinity at some point or another, but we won't tell Northcliffe that. And so it's fantastic to have you guys over here. Good to catch up, good to chat. And yeah, I'm going to hand over to Chubbs.
Yeah, for me as well. I mean, this is where I really, I've been looking forward to this chat. Um, Northcliffe was a very special time for me. In fact, I'd only ever coached at King David, and I'd done a bit of coaching, obviously, in the Lions setup. But at that time, I actually was coaching at Pirates, some of the Northcliffe guys, and I really got on so well with the Northcliffe guys. And I was actually meant to go to Lithuania to go do some coaching there. That fell through. And then it came up that I would now have to leave quite a few months later, and I'd have to be going to England. But I had this time that was available, but I didn't have a job other than Pirates. And Neil and Darren were so good to me, and I was given a job at Northcliff. I was the defense consultant for the first team in the school, and then I ended up working. I enjoyed it so much. I ended up working with the under 16 team, and I loved it so much working with Craig House, who to this day we're still such good mates. And I just have a special, Northcliff has a special place in my heart. I loved the kids, and I got to see Vincent play. And I'm sorry, the best physio in the whole world. Not only because of obviously the work that she does in mending the boys and getting them back on the field, but in just about being one of the boys, being part of the team, and at that same time adding that feminine touch with us, which I think is very important in a rugby team. And obviously I got to work with great individuals like Vince, and I went on to work with Vince further at the academy side with the Lions, which we'll touch on a bit later. I went to England, came back, and then I was fortunate to have done quite a bit of work with Bafana Ntlego, who was really good to me, has always been a mentor to me and at Parktown, and I think you could add real value. I'd seen Michael play. I'd worked with a little bit with him at Lions trials, and at I think one of the games he played in the academy side, he only lasted about 20 minutes, and then he was gone to the Cravenwick side. And what a player, and then having the ability to coach him as a Parktown coach. There's a game where I still talk about it to this day, where I can't remember who passed the ball. We were playing Affies at St. John's, and the player passes the ball, and as he's doing on the touchline at Parktown, mainly because when we played home games, it means I was on the side with the school with the band. Parktown is the best band in the world. Love them, the best. I just have a jaw on the sidelines with I happened to be a rugby coach, but mostly I was just having a jam with the boys on the sideline. But the moment he touches the ball, I start running on with the tee because I know no one's going to stop him. And that's how special you are as a finisher, Michael. So for me, the opportunity to speak with the three of you is just amazing. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And Chubbs, I must say, I've coined that saying that D is the best physio in the world. Eh? So you can't claim that. I've known it for years. Absolutely, she's treated me a couple of times, and there's no doubt in my mind that there is no better physio out there. And Madosh, I've heard stories about how Dee has treated you as well, but we'll get onto that. And needles and stuff like that. So we'll talk about
yeah.
Yeah, it's quite exciting times. So in fact, when I was, I tore my Achilles, not my Achilles, I tore my hamstring just a couple of days ago. And when I went to physio and they were putting needles in at the back over there, it reminded me of the stories that Dee has told me about your love for needles. But anyway, we're not going to get there. Dee, for you, it's, getting into the world of rugby must have been quite a daunting one in terms of you being a female and, having to work with mainly men and boys. How was it for you, like in the beginning when you started off?
For me, I have an older brother, which meant that I pretty much grew up on the side of a sports field. Whether it was a cricket field in the summer or the rugby field in the winter, it became a pretty much standard part of my life. And that's where I learned to love rugby. So for me, it was, my standard Saturday would be spent on the side of the rugby field, whether I was working or otherwise. So the environment in terms of the sport was something that I knew and I was comfortable with. But yeah, you're right. Often there have been many hundreds of boys surrounding us and just one or two female physios. So it's a fun environment, but it's nice to add the feminine touch, I think.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. I've watched you obviously in action, and you're always enjoying yourself until the match starts. It becomes quite hectic and intense. But we're going to get onto that a little bit later. Your time at Trinity and your time at Northcliff. Now, obviously, at the time you were a bit of a traitor to Northcliff because you were still working at Northcliff at the time. Just talk us through your time at Trinity, your favorite moments at Trinity, your favorite moments at Northcliff.
And is it true that you cried? Is it true that you cried in your first game at Trinity?
Yeah, she in the first game she was all emotional in a change room, and one question I had to ask is like, did this happen at Northcliff as well? But we're not going to talk about it. but do you tell us about that first game when you came to Trinity?
Oh dear. Yeah, so obviously I had been working at Northcliff. It's a very special school for me. But after the Northcliff season had finished, Trinity was in a bit of a position in that they had lost their physio or chiropractor who was working with them. He'd immigrated, and seeing that I'd worked with Glenn along the way, he roped me in, and I jumped across to Trinity to see what it was like across there. And I had loads of fun. I was immediately welcomed with open arms. Kids were lovely. The coach, and what more can we say? But that'd be the first experience. Jumped in. A really special unit, and the team did make me cry. I had a good cry, a good blubber in the change room. Really great start for me. I'm a softie, as tough as I may have, straight into my heart, and it was a very, very special time. And those boys are still people that I'll greet if I see them on the side of the street or in the gym or wherever we might meet up. They're very special.
Yeah, no, I must say, even though you did cry on your first one, it didn't affect the boys, and I think you had a great impression. So much so that they were asking me to get you on board like full time. So that's that's a kind of impression that you have on people, and the fact that you take your job so seriously. Madosh, you've also had a bit of a run-in with Trinity House. You did me a favor at some stage or another, had to come through. Took you out of your comfort zone a bit. That was the first time talking in public. How was that?
Yeah, that was like I go through that moment like frequently. I'm like, yeah, what was I saying, mate? Like, what are you saying, bro? You went so much off topic, but it was fun, like, because after that I got invited to several other schools to speak as well, which was like a little calming to know that I've been through this before and I've experienced it, and I know exactly what to say and how to say it and how to pitch my message across the room. But yeah, it was, like you said, like the first time you do something new, obviously at first is like, okay, it's out of my comfort zone, but after that you learn how to gel into the thing.
Yeah, it's not quite like playing rugby, eh?
Not at all. Just give me the ball. I'm fine.
That's fantastic. Vincent, while you were gone, you missed out on Madosh's rehash of his time when he had to give a speech at Trinity House. And one day I'll ask him about it. One day I think he'll have a great story to tell you over there. But nonetheless, it was fantastic. I think the fact that you came through for us was wonderful, and it was good for the boys to hear from somebody who'd gone from a position of being a schoolboy to the level that you were playing at that point in time. I think it was really great. And so the two of you, I really appreciate that time. I'm gonna come back to you guys a little bit later. I think Chubbs has got a couple of questions to ask as well.
Yeah, guys, just to start off with, I'd like to know some of your favorite memories about schoolboy rugby and playing at schoolboy. What were the special things like? Madosh, when I think about Parktown, there's things that are on my mind, things that I love. I just want to know from you guys, Vincent, what were your favorite things that start with you, Madosh?
Flip. Yes, I enjoyed school rugby so much. To be honest, like every Saturday, like just walking or running onto the field and having the boys scream their lungs out there every Saturday. It was just something, you'd look forward to, like the camaraderie that it created amongst the boys. It was just, it's like a feeling you can never take away. Like I always tell my mates, I was like, at that particular time in life, it's what made me kind of like enjoy rugby and wanting to pursue what I wanted to do because of my experience I had at school. So we never games as we wanted to win, but nonetheless, no. No, I'm talking about my start from
Okay,
2013. From 2013.
but please, when you round it up, please, can you talk about the final year where you had a different back?
Yeah, you gotta speak about the bad times too, so that when you speak about the good times, people know. So yeah, obviously 2013, I got my first couple of caps at the age of 16. Against the Lions Invitational side at Ellis Park, which was also like, you know, another special memory for me, not knowing that several years debut at the same venue. So like just first team game, phenomenal. The following year, first team, I was like playing a full season of first team rugby against guys that are like 19. It was awesome. You know, we lost like, I think it happened to be the year that I made Craven Week. So that's how I ended up meeting Coach Jobs. Like you mentioned earlier on, he was my academy coach. I was actually started at the Velpies team at the first couple of rounds, and then I played Craven Week. You just don't worry about the 18. You just worry about going to the 19. It was like, that's not me. So I just kept on pursuing things, and then we spoke after the one game we played with Monas. It's like, he told me, like, I see a lot of potential in you. Just keep it up. I was like, okay, cool. I didn't even know who he was. I was like, okay, cool, thanks. And then I had a good set of trials after that. And then the following week I met him, and then he's like, I told you, you did be good. And I was like, yeah, but coach, you know, as a player to coach, you know, when I played Craven Week and all, it's like, cool. You know, I still remember the first thing he said to me at the training was, like, yeah, mate, your pass is crap, man. Don't you know how to pass? I was like, what do you mean? It's my weekend. And it's like, no. If you wanna make Craven Week, you need to learn how to pass. So after training, stay with me, we can pass. So we stayed. I was like, so in my head, I'm fascinated by the fact that this guy is the first time he meets me, first time coaching me, and he's willing already to go the extra mile with me. So I was like, super. It was like some sort of instant connect to the Craven Week game at the Bulls. Played like 20 minutes, and then I got called up to the Craven Week to go be on the bench. And then after that, that was it. I never looked back. Went on to play Craven Week. Came back from Craven Week. First time beating Cares in King Edward was like a phenomenal feeling for me, because the year before that, we lost by like 3 points. So beating Cares at King Edward was like one of like the most, it was the tip of like King Edward. Not many people at Parktown can say that I've beaten King Edward at King Edward. And then the following year, I think that was the year Coach Jobs came in. We worked together a lot. He helped expand my game from wing to fullback. Then I expanded my game, started working on my kicking game. Then the following year, my final year at Matric, it just became like a not just a player-coach relationship. It was like we spoke about everything. We spoke about life. We spoke about what drives me and all that. And I actually got to know him on a better level, and it actually just delayed onto the field. And it was just great times with Coach Jobs. And then earlier this year, I think it was last year, I happened to see him at one of the Sharks training, and I was like, yeah. So in my head, I was like, dude, I actually need to share this guy that I'm a different player than when I was still in school. And I was like, yeah, I hope he doesn't tune me after this. And this is a middle shock. And then after that, we had like an awesome big chat, just caught up, and it was really nice speaking to him again. And yeah, that's more or less everything. And D, after like meeting her at the Trinity gala where I shunked my speech, she just kept on telling me, listen, don't worry, keep it calm, keep it cool, you'll be okay. And then I found out that she was a physio, and then I was like, you know what, sitting with injuries, and I didn't want to report it to the Lions because I didn't want to jeopardize my playing time. So I'd go see D, and she would sort me out. And I remember I had like a grade 2 hamstring tear, and with D's help, I managed to get back after a week. And everyone was like, "Oh, what did you do?" I was like, "Nah, I did nothing." Meanwhile, every single day I was going to go see D, and she was saying, "Can you do this?" She was needling my hammy. like, you know, and then like it became also like another thing, like at Curry D, we'd also start speaking about like just things in general. And it was just like, you know, like a broad working relationship, if I can say.
No, that's awesome, and thank you for just listening to you talking like that. And for me, one of the big things that made me want to come and approach you and speak to you and really work with you is that whenever I was speaking to you, and you were always receptive. And there's not one time where I said, Michael, after training at Parktown, we need to work on your pass, or we need to do this. You were always up for it. You always had a bigger goal, and I'm so proud of you. You know, I'm a Sharks fan, so when I see you playing for the Sharks, for me, it's the proudest thing. Maybe some of my mates get annoyed with me because I say, "Oh no, I coach Tamwood." I'm so proud of you. Continue and
definitely
just keep scoring tries and loving the defensive effort as well. Thank you.
Yeah, and Jabs, just to add into that, like, you talk about him being receptive as well, but I think you left out one thing, and that's the quality that I picked up when he came to speak at Trinity. His humility, I think, is very humble in what he does, and just the way that he came across. And it was easy for him because he wanted to get back, you know, not because he wanted for the boys to see what he's all about and what he's achieved, but because it was genuine, the fact that he wanted to give back to the boys as well. So that's the one quality I appreciate about you, Madosh.
Yeah, 100%. I actually want to ask Madosh. Now, obviously, you play in front of Kings Park. Is a packed Kings Park better than what's the Parktown field now? Forgotten, but is it better than that with the band playing and the vibe?
Like, you know, like at this level, I think Vince will, you know, can, you know, add on if he wants to, but at this level, like it gets you don't even hear the crowd, because like you're so in tune and so focused, like in the moment. Like the only thing you can hear is like your teammates. And when you tell people that they think, no, he's lying, he's just trying to, you know, be funny, but like you don't actually hear like the crowd. Like you just, like, funny enough, all you can hear is your teammate, or you can hear your, for instance, in my scenario, I'll hear Cohen relaying a message saying, "Hey, Doshi, we're doing this, we're doing that." Or yeah, Andre or Lucanio saying, "Okay, we need to do this." Or even like in a defensive situation where Lucanio be like, "Listen, I'm gonna try to go for the intercept. You just be behind me slightly, just in case I miss it, and then you can make a tackle and you can jam in." But like you don't really get to hear the fans unless or like a penalty or something, and you're like, "Dang, there's a lot of people here." But at high school, it was different. Like, you couldn't miss the school band, like starting from coming down from the hostel down the pavilion onto the first team field, running around and just seeing the boys screaming alongside you, like, "Yo, boys, this is special." So I will take the Parktown crowd over a full packed Kings Park or any stadium.
I love it. And I just want to mention, you mentioned a victory against Kes, and then you forgot to mention a victory in your matric year against
JP.
Star-studded JP. I don't know whether it's because gamers here, you don't want to offend them. But
no, the thing is, like, if you know, sometimes when you beat someone, you know, there's levels to the celebration. And they're like, "Oh no, I beat him. Okay, it's fine. Okay, no, it's fine." But Kes, on the other hand, is a different story, you know. I'm just saying, but like, yeah, matric was really special. Especially that first team of JP that was so powerful. Like they were ranked, I think, 5th in the country at that time. Had a few SS school players in there. You know, they will say the main team didn't play, but we all know that the only main guy that didn't play was Achiever. But I don't think it was going to make a difference in that game, the way the game went. But yeah, it was just special to have finished matric and said that I've beaten every top. Is really special for me. It's a memory that will never die.
Yeah. Vince, I want to come to you, and obviously besides having some crackers against Linksfield, against King David, What are your memories of schoolboy rugby at Northcliff for you? What was Northcliff for you?
Geez, Philip, Northcliffe always hold a special place in my heart. I think it's where I found my love for rugby. As I said, I always tell people back in my day, when I was in primary school, I was a soccer player, once upon a time, and I never imagined myself playing rugby at all. I was trying to be the world's best goalkeeper, and that was my goal. And then I get to Northcliffe, and there is no soccer, and I joined rugby, and I starting off at wing, with all the showboating and the tries. uh, and yeah, like it was. I think the one thing that's special about high school rugby for me specifically is that there's a connection that you build with the players, because it's the same players that you stay with throughout the 5 years of your high school career. Fans that you stay with, more or less the same fans that you stay with throughout the years as well. So you grow that personal relationship with the players and the fans. And as Madosh was saying, there's something about walking out to a school game, and it's a derby game, and your school's cheering for you, because it's so much more personal, if in that sense, you know what I'm saying, that you actually really get to take the moment in. Everything, everything that you do matters, in those school games. So it's definitely a different experience. I think what was nice about Northcliff rugby is that as much as it was competitive, it was something I can truly say I really loved. I never played rugby because Flip, I'm under pressure or so on and so forth. I played rugby simply because I loved rugby, you know what I'm saying? There was, even after the injuries, after the, the pains and the pre-season and so on and so forth, rugby was the one thing that I can say in high school, at least, that I really, truly loved, you know what I'm saying? So it was really a pleasure. And, working with, we had great coaches, you know what I'm saying, throughout the years. Working with you and Jab was always a pleasure. It was heartbreaking. And when he left Parktown, I was like, yeah, is this how it is now? Is this the real world that we living in? Like for me, that was a real punch in the gut. I thought to myself, geez, he's really gonna go to Parktown. If you're gonna go to school, at least go to a good school. You know what I'm saying? Not Parktown. And
Mate, listen, sorry, but you can't say that. You weren't even in our league, so you can't say that.
So yeah, it was.
Suddenly they think they're good.
I grew such a close relationship. Sorry?
Now say they beat JP once or twice, and now Parktown think they're good.
Absolutely, and that's the thing, but I don't blame them. You have to take the small victories, and the only victories you can really get. So it's fair. We'll give it to them. We'll give it to them. But yeah, I think it was. I grew myself I grew my character as well a lot. Playing at Northcliff, I can't say I was the star of the show. I was always I was never a bad player. I was always a good player, but I was never a star player. The guy that's gonna score 20 tries in the season or so on and so forth. So, I love working in the dark places. I love working when it's tough. I like going to those dark places and thriving in those dark places at Northcliff, because I was always that one guy that I thought, Flip, if it's tough, the team can rely on me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to be there when everything's going well, but I wanted to be there when things are going tough, that I could pick up my hand and be like, no, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So I think I grew a lot of that at Northcliff, and I can really say that I feel like it's taken me, helped me get where I am at this professional level as well.
Yeah, there's sorry, Chubbs. There's no doubt in my mind that you're probably the hardest player that Northcliff had at the time. I just remember coaching against you was, I don't know if you know, I was at Trinity for quite a while. And
yes.
So you say you weren't the star player, but I know that we had you marked. You were the one person that we knew that we had to cut down, eliminate in order to to get the team down and to make sure that you guys don't do as well. So don't ever underestimate what kind of impression you had and impact that you had on the game. you were definitely a star player. We had you marked like all the time. You're a hard worker. And that takes me to Manu as well. I know he's not a part of this, but I think, when I look at you guys, I see just, it's almost like a family thing. You guys work so hard and you incredibly hard. And we've got, there's just athleticism. There's those guts. I want to work hard. I want to work hard. I want to be better every single time. Always wanting to improve, kind of thing. So it really goes a long way, and it shows in what you said there that you always wanted to be that man that when the times are tough for the team, you wanted to be able to step up. So that's fantastic. I like that quality. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I can definitely say as well that academy week where we went to Kersney. Was it at Kersney, right?
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite academy sides that I've ever coached, and you're a big member of that team. Your physicality and you and Buddy Banga, and just the personality that you were in the team. And I think this goes for both of you guys, is your personalities. Vince, I remember us driving to go to our Bondadak, and the amount of laughing I did in that day. The boys loved you because you were always up for the jokes, and I remember you and Masugu ripping each other off and this and that. I really used to enjoy that. Vince, my question for you is, obviously because you went to a smaller school, do you have any regrets when you look back, or are you happy? And because you're living proof that players from smaller schools can make it, and look where you are now, having come from a Northcliff. So there'll be a lot of people that will say, no, in order to make it in rugby, you've got to come from a big school. But what do you have to say to that?
I firstly want to say that there are definitely, as I say, I take pride in the school that I came from. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely advantages of going to bigger schools. Do you understand what I'm saying? There will always be advantages from going to bigger, more recognized schools and playing in those first teams, because they are more recognized and they are, well known. But as I said, it's not impossible. And if it's something that you really want to thrive for, and it's something that you take seriously, then you will get it done. And I'll tell you why. So like a lot of people have actually come to me, a lot of Northcliff kids, a lot of kids from all different types of schools actually, and especially small schools. They'll come to me and ask me, I also want to make it in rugby. How do I do it? And first and foremost, I always tell them is like, look, you've got to be, you can't want to make it in rugby if you're not good. So work on your skills. First of all, make sure that you are at whatever level you're playing at, whether it's your school level, whatever, be a good player, be a star player, be amongst the best players in your school, especially if you're coming from a small school. And then from there, there's always systems. Like even if you don't make academy week or you don't make the Caribbean week side, for me, I always tell people, like when they do ask me, I always tell them a varsity cup university is the best place to start. First, get yourself into university, study, balance the two, and actually stick at it, because what I've noticed is that a lot of great players flip. I came through with got a couple of Oaks when I went to UJ, and there's just that, you get to varsity, it's a cool vibe, and you kind of lose your passion for sport, and you just want to love life, if that makes sense. And I've seen that happen to so many players, some of the guys that were in my year as well, that I thought, flip, if I could just push you if I could push you as hard as I'm pushing myself, you would. There's no doubt that you won't eventually get there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think more than anything, you just have to keep knocking on the door. Rugby is not. Life in general is not a fair thing. Like you work hard and you'll get your opportunity immediately. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to keep knocking a little bit longer. Other times people don't have to knock as hard. So more than anything, coming from a small school will give you a drive, because everywhere you go, the advantage for coming from a small school, it will give you a hunger or a drive that other people usually won't have. And that for me is the biggest advantage that comes from coming from a smaller school. There's a drive and there's a hunger that you'll have if you're serious about the sport, and if you really want it. There's a drive and hunger that you have, because people will always ultimately look down on you. And that's why for me, I guess since I've always been a kid, I've always been a fan of the underdog. I've always been a fan of the guys that aren't being looked at but are working extremely hard. Those guys for me are the guys that you kind of have to keep an eye our eye out for, because you never know what's coming. You know what I'm saying? And like, quite honestly, I think that was my biggest. It was always like, you know what, I'm going to prove them wrong, because I knew what I was capable of and I knew what I had. And more than anything, I think you also have to believe in yourself, because flip, it gets hard. You know, there's times where, you know, the things aren't going your way and the coaches are bashing you, your players are bashing you. And ultimately then it's just between you, yourself, and God. You know what I'm saying? Then you have to step back and you have to be like, you know what, I can do this. So a lot of the times I've seen so many people give up. I've seen so many people be like, yeah, you know what, maybe this isn't for me, you know, in my few years of experience. But more than anything, you have to believe in what you have, you know what I'm saying, what you're capable of doing. Instead of, I think definitely character, you'll definitely build a lot of character on the way, especially coming from small schools. As I say, it's not given to you on a silver platter. You have to work a little bit harder than everyone else, but it's so rewarding. It is absolutely rewarding.
Oh, awesome. And I think you and Madosh are fantastic examples of people. Not that Parktown was a small school, but it's not a Monas, or it's not an Affis, and Northcliff is definitely not an Affis or a Monas or Paul Boys. But this is why I'm even more impressed with you guys, is your ability to make it in the game at such a young age. For you to be a blind side flank for such a big union, coming from the small school that you did, that speaks volumes of you. And I want you and Madosh being starting to play as a matric boy, playing in that under-19 team, which won the under-19 Currie Cup, and to score the quickest hat-trick. As we talk about, what do you think were the qualities that made you guys at such a young age to be so successful and to be like prominent members in big teams in our country? That's awesome.
I'll go. It's fine. Under 19 is another special year for me in terms of my rugby. I think I think it paved the way for me in terms of where I am today. Like I look back and say, I don't think if it wasn't for my under 19 year, I don't think I would be the person that where I am today. Simply because like I managed to showcase my talent on a platform bigger than schoolboy rugby. So for me, not knowing what would happen to me after school, not knowing if I'll be going to varsity, not knowing if any union wanted, like no union wanted to contract me. So I was constantly stressing on what I'm going to do, what's my life going to be like after school? What am I going to do? Am I gonna go work or find a job and start playing club rugby or something? But then I got a call from Coach Joey, and then he's like, listen, I want you to come and train with the under 19, not play. I was going there on a training basis. Not very few people know this. But yeah, like I said, again, I spoke to Coach Jobs, and he's like, listen, dude, it's good to have our expectations, but you already know what you're getting called for. So just go there and be. Also had a good chat with Coach Bafana, who's plays a big role in my life until today. Also told me, like, dude, listen, don't let the word training get to your head. You just go there and be the best person that you can be. And then I went there first week of training, because Joey calls me in his office and is like, listen, with the way you are training, I can't leave you out, unfortunately. So you're going to have to start making means and ways on getting to training, because next week I might pick you for the Western Province game in Cape Town. So I was actually supposed to go, but then there was like a whole fight between Coach Joey and Bart and Rudolph, because they're like, no, he doesn't even have a contract. What do you want him to play and all that? So they took another guy. But then Coach Joey came back to me and was like, listen, dude, next week you're definitely playing. I'm going to make sure that you play for me. And when you play and I give you the opportunity, don't make me regret it. So I sat there and I came back home and I was like, yeah, I've got one shot to actually make this work. And if I don't make this work, I can't go and say I never got it. I played my first game under 19 against the Cheetahs. The second time I touched the ball, I'm like, dude, just go.
if they stop me, they stop me. If they don't stop me, that's a bonus for you. You look like a hero. Then I scored, and then right as the water break came on, because Joe's like, listen, if you're playing this way, so it's like, bet, challenge accepted. So second half comes on, I'm like, I score a try again, but it gets disallowed. And the season went on. I managed to play every single game from that first game. I got selected against the Cheetahs till the final. And then the final came because Joe's like to me, just before I went on, you've got an opportunity to make yourself famous. Go do it. So I was like, I told myself again, I'm like, bet this. I'm just gonna play the best way that I possibly can play. There's nothing left to do. Like, this is the last game I have to try impress someone at the Lions to get me a contract so that I can be in a different position come next year. So I remember coming onto the field, and my one mate is like, dude, you've proved to us already what you can do this whole season. You're already top try scorer, and I've got no words for that game. And after that, like the events that led up to this and up until this moment in my life has just been, I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to put words to it, because I feel like had it not been for that under-19 final game, I don't think there would be a Madosh Tambwe record holder of Super Rugby, Madosh Tambwe Sharks player, Madosh Tambwe this. So just after that, leading onto where I am right, and clips of luck and just grace, because I feel like if I never had luck and grace on my side, I don't think I would even be on the Zoom call right now. So it's just, there's just certain things like you can't explain to people on like how it makes you feel or how you can express it, but you can just look back and just be like, yo, I'm truly grateful for every single moment that has happened. And then fortunate enough, after that, second last matric paper, I get a call from Coach Ackerman. And I thought it was a prank from my mates. I'm like, hey, it's Coach Ackerman from the Lions. I'm like, stop playing. Who's this? And then he laughed. He's like, I want to see you on Tuesday at Johannesburg Stadium. I'm like, okay, wait, this is not a prank. This is the real deal. So I'm like, is this Coach Aki's from Lions? Like, yes, it's me. I'm like, yo, Coach. So like, I'm starstruck. I'm speaking to the Lions head coach. So I spoke to Coach Aki. He wants to go to training. And then again, got a call from Coach Bath and Coach Joey saying, listen, we sat down as a coaching staff. We knew already that Coach Akis was going to call you to come do preseason with the Super Rugby. Then again, just go there and have an open mind and train to the best of your abilities. So I went there. I was like, now I'm training with guys that now I'm in a different pool or different league with different guys. I'm like, okay, he's a Springbok. Okay, he's a senior captain. That's Warren White. This is really happening. There's Elton, there's Lionel. So I just took the whole piece with the open mind, and then the following year, I'm like, so every single preliminary trials week we had, I'd make the cut. I was like, wait, is this really happening? Like, can I actually play Super Rugby this year? And then I had to go back to the SA Under-20 for like a training camp and stuff. And midway through the camp, I get a call from Coach Sean Rue, and it's like to me, he's like, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. I don't think you're gonna play the S Under-20. I'm like, yo, coach, so was I that bad? It's like, no, I'm just joking. You have to report back at the Lions because you're playing Super Rugby this week. And I was like, oh wait, what? Are you serious? And then flew back to Joburg. Then that weekend was so emotional for me because like at the one stage, like every single thing I ever wanted and dreamed for and wrote that I wanted it to happen, it was literally in front of me. And what even made it special, like I remember, I'll never forget this, like walking down the tunnel for warm-up, and Quade Cooper was like one of the most, I can't up to that guy and watch his videos, and he came to me and he called me by my name. It's like, Madosh, good luck, see you on the field. I was like, what? This guy knows me. I like, this guy knows me. And then from then onwards, it's been like a friendship, him and I, and it's just, I don't know. It's just like a whole dream, like reliving your dream like it being like reality. So you like, okay, I dreamt about that while sleeping, and I'm actually there's just too much, there's just too much to try to put words into. I don't think there's enough words to accumulate what every single thing has been for me since the Under-19 final happened in 2016, the 22nd of August, if I'm correct. Yeah.
No, awesome. I just before we go to Vince, you mentioned I'm grateful. You mentioned me, and you've mentioned Coach Bafana and the Coach Joey's, and quite a few people have played a role in your growth, having come from Queens to coming to Parktown. Remo, the Andrews. I think Andrew is somebody that played a role in your. Can you just say anything to say about the role they played in your life?
For like a guy like Andrew, I get emotional sometimes because like he played a father figure, like he constantly plays a father, like he is a father figure in my life. From the first day I met him to now, where we like live together, and I call him dad, he calls me son. Like I remember going through a time in my life where I thought like, okay, this is the end. This is literally the end of me. And he came to me, he set me down, and they basically gave me a second chance. And Remo, Coach Bafana, like this is just people, I can never live a day of my life. It will just be a very selfish act or a very selfish, inhuman act from my side to forget the roles that they've played. I know there's not enough money to put a cap onto what they've done. There's not enough thank yous. There's not enough of action to say or do to show your gratitude towards what they've done. So I just live every single day just, being thankful to these people that have literally changed because of them, I was able to turn my life like a whole 180. We met them, I could have probably be doing something stupid right now. I could have, I don't know, wouldn't even been at Parktown, wouldn't have met nearly the people, like everything. I don't think had I not met Andrew, I don't think my life would be here. Like, I know it's harsh to say that because you never know what lives bring you, but there's just certain people that you meet that just change your life tremendously, and he's one of those people. And I'll never like they've done, because like it's more than just words or an action to express the level of gratitude I have as a person. Because yes, they've been awesome. They've been really awesome to also supporting me after school in terms of mentally, emotionally, with all this, like with all the trolls that professional rugby has, and they've just stepped up, and like it's easy to come back home. I'm not playing. I'm not in a good headspace. This is not going well, and it's a lot easier to do that because you always get the best advice from them. Like one being my move down to the Sharks, it's very daunting because like I don't have family in Durban, don't have no one. I know nobody in Durban. No.
You've got nobody in Durban,
and I didn't know you were in Durban that time. What do you mean? I didn't know you were in Durban. So like that move alone just like took so much away from me because like I was taking myself away from my support system and going to an environment where I knew nothing. So making that decision, and obviously with the advice and the help, has actually paid so much because it has drawn us some sort of closer. being so far away. And like just coming back, he's just, he just brings a calming feeling to be back home, crack jokes, just be. So yeah, just so much to say. Don't think we've got the time.
No, thank you, Mike. And I know those guys are really proud of. I still chat to them, and they're still very much prominent figures in my life. And I know that they are really proud, and I'm proud of them just as human beings and the investment that they made in your life. And I know when I see you and where you are now, I'm really proud. And I know for them, having met you even earlier than me, and they've done way more for you than I have. And I know that they're proud of you. So well done.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Yeah, Flip. For me personally, I always, sometimes I look back on my career. I look back and see where I am and reflect on my career thus far, and I think to myself, a lot. I just want to say, like, a lot of where I am, I'm truly grateful, and I worked hard, but I could never say, I was the hardest worker in the entire world. Like I worked very hard. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of it, I have to say, I was truly blessed, and it's truly God's grace that like Flip, coming out of high school, if I could tell you my plan, like my plan was, young guns is gonna be tough to make. So, first year, maybe, just get in the team, maybe get a game or two. Then second
And I
year,
remember you in that Young Guns team.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then I was thinking to myself, maybe second year, then you can start in Young Guns. And if you're lucky, third year, get a varsity cup cap or two. And then fourth year, you start in varsity cup. That was like that was way of how I was going to progress with my rugby career. And, as everybody has touched on that, like he was my Young Guns coach at the time. And he kind of, he was hard on me, but he never disregarded me. Do you understand what I'm saying? So he was hard on me, and I thought to myself, I promise you, it's because I come from Northcliff. I promise you that's the only reason. And I thought, and things, and I felt like I was done hard by, and a couple of injuries happened, and then he picked me to come into the team for the semi-final, and I had a good. I think I came off the bench for a good 30 minutes, and then same thing happened with me. Coach Joey called me for a practice period, and he called me for practice period, and very similar thing. I did well in my practice period, and it's never been Flip easy sales the entire way. A lot of the times I had to grind my butt off, to get to where I am right now. And I think more than anything, I think for me, what helped me, obviously Madosh, he's been a try scorer, and that's what got him to where he is at the moment, But for me, more than anything, was my enjoyment of the battles of the game, of the not so glorious stuff of the game. So, in terms of like, I've always loved defending. That's always been a big thing for me. I've always loved making tackles. I've always loved making good reads on D. Attacking is great. Nobody's gonna turn down a try, and that's amazing. But I think for me, what helped me is that, as I said, when things aren't so good, then I'm kind of like, okay, now I can turn up a gear. Do you understand what I'm saying? So for me, I've always loved the darker side, not the darker, but the tougher side of the game. So, when things are easy, I feel like anybody can shine. It's great for the team to shine, and I appreciate it and I love it. But, on the way to, in my under-19 year, on the way to getting my first game, it was pre-season time, and those are never fun times. Those are the dark times. And you're riding your butt off and you're hating every minute of it. But that mentality for me was that, Flip, keep going. If you can keep going now, then you're gonna keep going later. So just keep going. And same thing came out in the games. Tackle after tackle. You get a niggle, but you're like, no, it's not. As long as I can move, I'm gonna give myself to the team, and I'm gonna give myself to my badge that I play for. And reflected. And so many coaches throughout, since Northcliff actually, you guys have always known, we've always had players like the Darians and the Garys who were always like the try scorers. But when it was tough, then you guys could call upon it. You guys came to me first. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then that was kind of the role and responsibility that I kind of took. I'm like, you know what, that's that's the player that I want to be. I want to be there to celebrate the good times, but I also need to be there to get you through the tough times. And carried out throughout my career. There was a time in 2018 where I thought, sure, if I can even play rugby this year, I don't know how I'm going to play rugby this year. I was still 19 at the time, and Super Sport Challenge, there's so many guys ahead of me. It felt like it was impossible. Under 21 felt like it was going to be tough. And then, as I said, God's grace opened up opportunities for me that I would have honestly never seen coming. And I then, more than anything, I also have to say that when an opportunity comes, just be ready to meet it. So don't be lazy, and then the opportunity can't come twice. And some people do get the opportunity to get the same opportunity 3 or 4 times, but some guys only get it once. So some guys, unfortunately, have to be more prepared than others, and that's how grace and blessings work. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's going to be blessed and exactly the same. So yeah, and I was fortunate enough that I did take my opportunities, and I was seen and recognized. And Flip, Madosh is right. When you get on the field and you think, yeah, I'm playing with Malcolm Marx, this is impossible, right? Then all of a sudden, like I'm thinking, it's like it feels so surreal at so many times. And I think the best thing about that is that you really get to appreciate the game, and you get to appreciate how good and how privileged that you are compared to other people. Like, especially, I remember in my first game of Super Rugby as well, and I'm on the bench and I'm nervous like you can't believe. I'm thinking to myself, Vince, I think I didn't even want to play rugby that day. All I just want to do is not make mistakes. Like, I'm just like, just don't make mistakes. Like, I was nervous. Like, I remember on the bench and they tell me, Vincent, warm up. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. And like, I honestly didn't know what to expect. And that's the nice thing about rugby, is that you might be nervous, but once you get the feel of the game, like after I made my first 2 tackles, and I thought, okay, what? Maybe I shouldn't be. I've never been one to, as I said, I've never been one to back down from a challenge. So for me, the moment I just got into it, I was like, you know what, get there. You know what I'm saying? So I've always, as I said, I've been blessed, but I think my X factor has always been my ability to work in the dark places, and my ability to never give up. I have, like a never say die attitude. So I think that's definitely been what has helped me climb the ladder.
Awesome, man.
That is awesome, gents. As you take it away from the rugby a little bit, but staying with rugby and going to the backgrounds, because people forget about the things that are not in the front. You guys are out there battling things, and going to bring D back into this, because the background workers, the guys that get you guys right, and when you're injured and things like that, nobody talks about. And the one thing that I failed to mention earlier on about D is D, Jabs, and myself have a similar kind of way that we see things and how we actually react and respond to people. And in all the teams that D has worked with me, starting from Trinity to the Lions, she's always been a mother figure. And we always, Jabs and I talk about that, we are about the people. We are about the kids. We are about making sure that they get the best treatment, that they're having and enjoying the sport that they're playing. It's not always about the results. And the one thing that D is, and that's why I've maintained her in just about every single team, where I go, D goes. There's no doubt about it. Because I know the love that she has for the, not about the client, and that's it. But she sees them as individuals, and she'll go out of her way. In fact, it reminds me of a story now, Dean. I think last year it was with the Grand Como side, where we had a certain part-time boy. On the first time that Dee saw this boy, she recognized that he needed a bit of assistance, he needed a bit of help, and she just can't help herself. She takes it on herself to become part of the team, and the team absolutely loves her from the beginning, right from the start. She becomes one of the boys, and I love that characteristic about you, Dee. And that takes me to my next question now, because when you got injured players, and what it is they want, what their dream is, and they want to just get back onto the field. and I've seen it before where your heart just breaks for these boys. How do you tell them that they cannot play? They can't get back onto that field. Sorry, you're done.
Yeah, it's probably my least favorite part of the job, because my heart's out there with them. You guys, I've worked with all of you, and you've seen the passion that I feel for the game, but also, as you say, for the kids. So the kids and whoever I'm working with, really the hardest thing that I've got to do. But at the end of the day, I guess I've got to look at it that I need to work to prolong that person's career in the game. And if I let them go out and play and take the risk, I'm potentially shortening their career. And that's not something that you want to do, especially when it is somebody who has the potential to go far in the sport. You've just got to look at this as a short-term hurdle in the longer plan. So yeah, you've got to have the end goal in sight, and I've just got to try and explain that to them through the tears and through the snot and trana, taking them off the field, which is it's just as hard for me as it is for the player that I'm taking off the field. It's as upsetting for me. But yeah, as I say, it's you've just got to explain that it's for the long-term goal that we're working towards.
Yeah, and that's that love that you speak about, Vincent. It's really true. So many times that we've gone to an empty Ellis Park to come and watch it, because D was like, "Oh, Vincent is playing, Vincent is starting." And if you scored, I mean, you scored a try the one time. I can't even remember which game it was. And there was something written, an article written about it, and she was so proud. And that's a kind of thing. She's really proud of every single person that she works with. There's no lesser person. Everybody is equal. And that's how the possums came about. Dee, tell us about the possums.
Oh goodness. So yeah, in my career with the Lions and with Jabs and Glenn, we've had a number of adventures on and off the field. And
Adventures.
it all originated at Parktown during a Craven week. And you got to have some fun off the field too. So yeah, late nights at Parktown Clubhouse roundup. Stories were told and the possums were born.
Lovely.
Thank goodness.
Lovely.
Yeah, there's that.
Hey, that's Jobs. The second house. Hey, second house of stories for days.
Whoa, take it easy.
Whoa.
Whoa,
No.
Michael, I want to know. I'd like just give me.
No.
Yeah.
Madosh, with you, we're just discussing rugby with you.
No, it's fantastic. Dee, there's no doubt that you
Just avoid that one, and I want to ask Dee.
Yeah.
I would like to ask Dee a question.
Yeah.
I've been in teams sometimes with coaches who are more win at all costs than I am, and we've had situations where a player needs to come off. He's visibly injured. I can think of one just off the top of my head, and the physio says this guy's got to come off, and the player says no, we need this guy. This guy's got to stay on. As a physio, and of course with your connection, because the thing I love about you more than anything is that you're not detached. You're very much attached to the athletes. How does that situation feel?
Yeah, I've been in that position many times. I think that also comes with experience. It becomes easier with experience.
It must be a nightmare for you.
Yeah. It's really not easy, but as I said, it comes with experience, and it comes with also confidence in your own ability and in your judgment calls. So initially, I think as a new physio starting out, you are less likely to really back yourself and back your opinion. But as you get more experienced and as you are convinced that what your opinion is correct, I think it becomes easier. because, as I say, you want to have the players' best interests at heart. And I've coaches where I've told them that the player's coming off and they've said they've got nobody to replace them, or they're not prepared to take the player off, and I've actually walked the player off the field regardless, because as a medical professional we take an oath, a Hippocratic oath, to always have the patient or the player's best interests at heart, and to do no harm. And if we let that player carry on, we're risking their career. And whether that is in professional sports or just, recreational running or otherwise, it's not going to be doing them any favors in the long run. So you've got to trust yourself, back yourself, what the coaches say. We learned that from the Chelsea physio as well. Sometimes you just got to go with your gut.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do, Dee. And I know that, it hurts. Like last year, we had our captain, we had to take him off the field. And that was a forced decision that you went against. So you actually thought the player should stay on the field. And there was actually nothing wrong with the player. So sometimes it goes the other way around. And we often coaches and rules dictate certain things, and it goes against you, etc., etc. But, I've got a photo of you and how angry you were when we had to take the player off, when you're forced to take the player off when there was nothing wrong with him. I will share it one day on Facebook or Instagram, etc. And you were visibly...
Please don't.
But yeah.
Maybe on the Possum group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll share it. But Dee, more importantly, your career has also, grown quite a bit since obviously starting off at school and things like that. You've now also worked with the senior ladies Lions team. You've also gone overseas. I think you went to Dubai for the Sevens as well. Just talk us through that and that experience of working with the ladies, the Lions ladies, and winning the league at some stage, I think, as well. And having the experience overseas in Dubai with the Sevens.
Yeah, look, I've been very, very fortunate, very blessed in my career so far. I've worked with some incredible people, and I've always been in pave your way. Obviously, you've got to put in the effort, but a lot of it comes with being in the right place at the right time and being a decent human being. So I started off working at Northcliff, and through Northcliff, I was pulled.
Yeah.
I was pulled into the Lions setup, and that started off with the academy team at Craven Week, and that was Academy 15 at the time, and then the following year Academy, and last year was with the Grand Como side. And through that, I got into the ladies senior Lions team. It's a very, very different atmosphere, very different for me, especially as we were talking about earlier, being so used to being the only girl in the setup in a lot of occasions. It's very different, but it's very special as well. And the ladies are doing incredible things. There's a lot of work to be done, and a lot more thought needs to go into the whole process in terms of the funding and all of those things. We won't get into that. But through that, I met Chanel Alberts, and Chanel is one of the most inspirational women that I've come across. She's one of our only, I think, if not our only, female rugby coach at provincial level. And she is incredible. She is one of the strongest personalities I've ever met, but also so driven, and she's just paving the way for women's rugby in South Africa. And so with her, working alongside her, I've started working with the Pirates ladies, their rugby side, and we went to the Dubai Sevens together as a team, and that for me has definitely been a highlight. It was an incredible experience, and an international tournament is just something on a new level. So yeah, truly an incredible experience, and I'm really, really blessed.
Yeah, thank you, Dee. I think you've been a blessing to most of the people that I know that you've worked with, without a doubt. And there's no doubt that when you are back at work, so I need you to come and sort out my hamstring, but I don't need you to come and tell me that I can't be running. None of that, eh? None of that nonsense. I need to
No
get back.
negativity up in here.
Yeah, I need to get back into action pretty soon. But Dee, where to from here in terms of rugby and in terms of sport?
So as Vin and Madosh will know, it's just constant graft. You just, as Vinny said earlier, got to keep knocking on the doors, keep being present, keep doing your job to the best of your ability, and hopefully continue to climb the ladder. Obviously my goals would be to work with the national side, but working with the Lions senior ladies has given me a taste of that, and I absolutely love it. To me, my work and especially on the side of the rugby field is one massive adventure. It's loads of fun, and whichever teams I'm with bring a different dynamic. So yeah, as I say, every team, every game is a different adventure upwards, hopefully.
Yeah. All right. There's no doubt in my mind that you can do it, Dee. Vitrefear, Dee. I just want to go back and touch on Vitrefear. A lot happened there. Eh? Sunglasses on the bus. Tell us what it's like walking into a bus that's a bit dark.
Ooh, it can be a tricky thing, that, especially when you've got your sunglasses on your face.
I'm not going to ask why you had sunglasses on that day.
No reason in particular. The sun was loud, as Vinny would say.
Yeah.
Well, one of the positive things about it, but okay, no, COVID is a shocking thing. Sorry, let me restart. Let me rephrase this.
I was worried about where you were going.
The national. Well, I was going down a dark alley. The use of dark. Yeah, you saw what I did there. But the good thing is that I'm not going to be exposed to the Lions management again, because as at the Sharks, we're very focused. You would have met Tim Orchard as well. So you know that very you guys were disrupting my schedule. But in spite of that, we managed to do well. So I'm hoping next year we're all reunited again.
Jabs, I just got to ask you a question. You say that the Lions management is not really focused, and you guys are, but you happen to be at our camp probably about 90% of the time. The only time that you were with the Sharks was when you were playing matches. How's that focus?
No comment. No comment.
Exposed.
These are unfounded.
Just checking,
I don't know where the comments are. No.
When I saw you with the Sharks, you look pretty grumpy, Jabs.
With you, the Sharks, we have to wear a blazer instead of a tracksuit. So I do miss the more laid-back Lions approach. And obviously, my whole goal is I'm a uniter. I love to unite people. And so I didn't want to be with the Sharks or the Lions. I wanted to be with my people.
You just wanted to be with the possums.
Nailed it, Jab.
What a legend. Dee, there's, I'm always going to tell people that you're the best physio in the world. There's no doubt about that. And your favorite, all I want is your favorite moment with the Lions.
I was working with Madosh somewhere.
Not working with Vin.
Yo, you guys are putting me on a spot. So I'm going to go with somebody completely different because I just want to stay impartial. Glenn brought up earlier a situation that we had this previous year at the Grand Como tournament. And there was a player who came from not much money, financially really battling. And it was a player that I kind of identified early on as somebody that needed some mothering and some help and some support. Not in a financial way, but every other way that I could give it. And that kid went on to perform fantastically throughout the tournament, but also to prove to be a really wonderful individual and wonderful kid. And I think it doesn't, that's one particular moment ahead, but that kind of a scenario to me is the most special thing about what I do, is that I get to make an impact in people's lives in a way that I would never otherwise get to. I think my job and my role, stop it, Madosh. My job and my role in the team allows me to have a very different relationship with the players. You know, I don't have to be a disciplinarian, and I don't have to shout at them and tell them what to do. I can tell them what not to do to get injured, but usually that it allows me to just form really special bonds and special relationships with the players, and that to me means everything.
Fantastic, thank you. I just want to take it to the two of you, Michael and Vinny. What are you guys doing now during lockdown to keep yourselves busy, keep yourselves fit? You know, obviously, we know that at some stage or another we're going to go back into sport. We don't know when that will be, but like, what's your routine like in terms of keeping yourselves busy? Rugby.
I've been posting videos on my Instagram, but I've stopped now because now I'm getting into the serious things. I want people to see what I do when I'm doing the serious stuff. It's been a great help. It's been a great help in terms of just prepping me. Got some tackling bags here and tackle sausages where we just graft. So we just grafted.
Yeah, I need all the work you can get.
Just want to grab. Just trying to go, like, you know, be on a download. Nobody must know what I'm doing. Just putting my head down and just trying to be there for myself as well. Most importantly, mentally as well, because it's a tough time for every single individual in the world, irrespective of you being a professional athlete, you being a school teacher, you being a banker, you being a lawyer, you being whatever occupation you currently hold. It's just a difficult time for everybody, and you need to learn how to be there for yourself. So, but firstly, I was in Durban for the first 7 weeks of lockdown. So after we played the Stormers, we had to go into a 2-week quarantine just before lockdown, the initial lockdown started. So we were already 2 weeks in before the initial lockdown started. So that 2 weeks we were like, yeah, no, you know what, life's gonna be back, all good in like 3 weeks time, and then we'll be back, guns blazing, playing Super Rugby again, hopefully contending for the trophy. And then a national lockdown was announced, and we were like, okay, this thing is serious. So we managed to get like watt bikes for the first half of the lockdown. Watt bikes. We'd set up challenges amongst each other just to keep ourselves like busy and entertained. And then the severe the lockdown got, and then people were like, you know what, I'm just gonna isolate myself now. I'm not too busy with this challenge anymore. I'm just gonna try to be there for myself. So yeah, like I said, I've stopped posting those videos, and I've just been doing my secret stuff here at home, and it's been working. Getting strong again. My muscle mass and definition is starting to come back again. I'm losing fat. My core strength is getting back. So it's kind of like working for me with what I'm doing at home at the moment. I just hope I can sneak in a session with D just before I go back to Durban, because my lower back is gone. It's gone. The couch has been too good. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to hopefully with the level decrease at the end of the month, we can resume some sort of training, go back with the boys and just see the boys again, because yeah, like you kind of miss it. Like I really miss it. I would love to just go back on the field, juggle a few balls and just score more tries, man. I was on a roll before this lockdown, man. Just trying to go back to that form I was in, and just like the camaraderie became so toxic in a way that it made you so happy. So like the environment was so good that it became toxic in a way where like you don't want to be anywhere else but in that environment with your mates, with your teammates, because everybody's just like aligned to a certain goal and a certain purpose. And every week, you know, we'd never like fight amongst each other and be like, no, do that. We just get onto that field and be like, boys, you know what? Today we need to live here with a powerful performance. You know, we need to make a statement. We're not too worried about the results. We worry about the performance, and if we can do that, it will just create some positive vibe amongst us. And I think that has been the highlight of the year so far. And you constantly have to push yourself because you know the guy next to you is not going to slack because he just wants to be, you know, part of this whole process thing. We're trying to drive that side, and yeah, I think this lockdown is also like gives us time to analyze and see what we've actually taken for granted, and give us a different perspective to what actually is important in life to us that we didn't probably make time for pre-lockdown.
Just a quick one before Vince, you answer. I would just Durban, but a very big part of me is Joburg now, and I actually it annoys. I think mainly because I did my varsity years and then I started working. I had my first heartbreak. A lot of my memories, my really close mates are in Joburg.
Friday night manias. Friday night manias.
But I want to know from your side, how's it been being in Durban now? What are the things you like about Durban? And then going further on that, and you don't have to tell us about the negatives, but I'd like to know the positives and the differences maybe between the Lions and the Sharks. And it could be things that they just do differently, which are good in different cultures, but obviously it's different teams.
Firstly, I miss the subtropical weather in Durban. There's no such thing as winter in Durban. I love that place. No traffic. Everybody's like so laid back. Like it's not even a joke, and it doesn't feel like life is as fast paced as Joburg. Like, because in Johannesburg, like it feels like everybody's so focused into work. Like that's what everybody knows. Like work. But in Durban, people are like, yeah, okay, we've got the beach. We're gonna go surf. You know, like people are a lot. And I like it's just having a beach like 2 blocks down from your house actually helps. So I'm really enjoying my time in Durban. And the difference between the Sharks and the Lions, I would say like, you know, inclusivity is a big one. I feel like a lot of things that was said at Lions were not practiced as much as it was said. But with the Sharks, I feel like everybody like is so invested. It being starting works at the sports shop, you know, like it feels like everybody's so invested. And in terms of culture wise, it feels like everybody, whatever, like the value of every single player's input matters. So it being a kid that just came out of school that might be training with us and has to like and has to sit down in one of our team sessions and tell us like what he sees like we're doing bad. Like Coach Dave has this thing whereby you ask guys that don't train with us to come to one of our sessions and tell us like what he sees that we're doing wrong and how we can better that. And we kind of like take it too hard and be like, okay, boys, this is what we need to do better. And I feel like if the Lions wasn't like that, it was more of you get judged based according to your environment. So if you're at the Super Rugby, only people at the Super Rugby can make a judgment on what you're doing. But with the Sharks, I feel like the inclusivity is so good that you can get someone that is playing under 19 that can come to our session. I think you were there when you saw, like, can come to our session and take charge of. You are leader of the session. So you determine the intensity, you determine the skills and whatever we have to do. And I think for me, it just makes like that player feel valued in some sense that if I might not be playing Super Rugby, but my input is valued at the level where because a lot of players that don't play Super Rugby in most of the unions, they feel so excluded from the whole system. And I feel like the good thing that the Sharks are doing is making everybody feel like they included. They are part of both being part of the line, was part of the line for a couple of years, and now at the Sharks is just seeing how things at the Sharks are working. It would have been nice to to have seen that at the Lions as well, whereby you get a kid that's playing on the 19 and 21 or even Super Sport Challenge come down to Super Rugby and give his input or output of the sessions and rate the sessions and say what can be done better and how we can better it and like not be predictable, and sit down in team sessions and actually speak, and like certain coaches just lead the session in essence. So yeah, I think that's the little difference. And the facilities are better. I won't even lie. Sorry, Vince. The facilities are top 2 and not number 2 that I've been at. So yeah.
Awesome. Vince?
On my side, so I obviously came just before lockdown commenced. I went on my ankle because I got a grade 3 ligament in Australia, ligament tear in my syndesmosis in Australia, and I got back, and so I've been focusing. So while I've been here, I haven't really been able to get much fitness in besides cycling. I've been on the assault bike quite a bit. But besides that, I've been in the gym like quite a lot. I've been big in the gym over this quarantine period, and I've definitely picked up a little bit of size. And now I'm just happy. I'm looking forward to, getting fit at this weight, at this size. Yeah, I picked up quite a bit of weight as well, and I'm happy at where I am. I don't think I've gotten fatter. I've just gotten bigger. So, my biggest thing in this quarantine time was a lot of gym work, a lot of self introspection, looking at my games again, seeing what I need to work on to take me to another level. Kind of doing a lot of that self analysis type of thing in this quarantine time. So yeah, now I've started jogging again, and I'm on my way back. Next week I should be on agility. So I'm keen. I'm very keen to really start the process of getting back onto the field, getting fit, getting strong, and just playing rugby again. So yeah, that's kind of been where I've been at thus far.
That's fantastic. And
Awesome.
you mentioned.
And I gave Madosh a chance to tell me the great things about the South.
Sorry, Jobs.
Sorry, I just wanted Vince to just touch briefly on obviously the Lions had Swayze and Johan Ackerman for a while, which was an older leadership group, and now it's Cash and a lot of the younger coaches like Neil De Bruin, who was involved in that setup, and so I think that's a new younger group. What are some of the changes that you've picked up on? Some of the exciting things that I have at the Lions of leadership.
Yeah, I see, more than anything, I think there'll always be the benefits of an old system and a new system. And my one of the exciting things about what we have going on right now is that there's a lot of innovation happening at the Lions. There's a lot of thinking out the box, trying to do things a better way, and when with the older system and it's been working, it's kind of like, let's stick to that. And in most cases, it won't work forever. So we've trying to, tweak the system better to improve it and so on and so forth. So I think the coaches are trying as much as possible to, be inclusive, to hear what the players have to hear, the players' cries as well, to involve them in the decision making. But, so to hear them out before they make any big or final decisions. So it's been very inclusive thus far. I think, as I said, there's benefits and not so, and the negatives of having new stuff. And there aren't much. The only thing is that we still have to, that takes time. And more than anything, I just think we really are going to we really are taking our game forward and looking for the best parts of our game and trying to take that with us and leave what wasn't so good in the past, obviously. So yeah, I think that's what's been nice about having a new management and having a new staff at the Lions.
Nice.
But yeah, sorry, just to add on that, Vince. I mean, from my time, obviously, I played around Coach Akers and Coach Swayze, JP Ferreira. Like that time, and obviously now with obviously the back end of Curry Cup just before I left. Yeah, there was like obviously in terms of the leadership, there's always going to be somewhat of change when someone new comes into the system. But like with what was happening towards the end when I left, I feel like there was a lot of positive that was happening, especially with such a young coaching staff like that. And to be honest, this whole year is when the year started. Super Rugby started. What I mean is when Super Rugby started, like sitting back and obviously paying close attention to the Lions was like you could see the guys had potential, but like it just there was still that little bit of something missing there. But like Vince said, like you can't expect, you can't expect. I mean, you can't expect to plant a seed today and then tomorrow a tree grows from it, and then you can start picking out from that tree. But like I feel like there's got a good thing going on there, and I just hope that they can flip and play and get back to where the Lions was at like 2017, 2018, and like because that was like my big thing. Like I wanted to play against the Lions when they were at their best, because like watching the games was like like it was a little bit heartbreaking because you got mates that are still playing there, and then you start asking questions like, what is going on? What's this and this? But yeah, I think it's just it's a matter of time until they get what's going on that side to stick and and start getting the performance that I know with the judging with the characters that are there that the Lions can get. And that's my big thing, to see the at that level and then be like, yeah, I play there. I play there. Although you're not there, you never want to see the players that you want not in a good state of mind. Like I would always love watching the Lions play and be like, yes, win, yes, so that when I play against them, I know I'm playing against. I will need to be at my best to play against them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that day.
I can't wait to beat the Lions.
I'm a Shark fan as well, so all the way, Madosh, all the way. But gentlemen, lady,
Only time shall tell.
only time.
Don't call for it soon, bro. Don't call for it soon, bro. Rather be ready. You don't want to go into the sea and not being prepared of the shark attack, bro.
He's a proper shark now, eh? Jeez. Oh man, doesn't take lots to convert you, eh? No, guys, it's really been fantastic. It's been awesome catching up with you guys, and thank you so much for so much insight, so much inspiration as well. You really, you guys do a lot, and whether you know it or not, but you guys have a lot of people that look up to you in so many ways. Firstly, for your achievements, and Vincent, you spoke about it in the sense that you came from a small school and went on to to play for the Lions and play Super Rugby. It doesn't happen too often. And Michael, coming from Parktown, which is we're not going to say it's a great school, but it's not a school where people are expecting like stars to come out of, and you've done well. Jabs, so you've really done well, and I've watched some of the trials, and they've been awesome. I think I'm not going to say anything. I've watched some of your trials. I think one of my favorite trials were, I think you playing at St. John's. It was, I think it was a festival. And I just came through to come and support Jabs over there. And you scored quite an amazing try. I think you took it from your own half. Yeah, quite a bit of pace. But it's there's you inspire people.
I scored several tries against St. John's.
Keep on inspiring people. That's that's my thing for you guys. And D, just keep loving people the way that you love people. Keep being an inspiration, and keep being that person that is for the players. And you are amazing in what you do. And you are in the background, but there's no doubt in my mind that the people that deal with you in the background come out the better for it. And I know from experience as well. And I think Jazz will probably echo those sentiments. So it's been really awesome, gentlemen, catching up. And I look forward to seeing you in the field. D, look forward to coming to you for physio at some point. Maybe Madosh and I will have a session very quickly before he ducks off to Durban.
D,
Me too.
Yeah,
D, are you in Joburg?
Yes.
Right, and Vinny, I'll see you at the JP Rugby games, eh?
Sorry?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have to keep an eye on my brother, make sure he's coming through the ranks quite nicely as well. So
100%.
I'm always there to support.
Lacquer. We'll keep seeing you there. Eh? Okay, gents, that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks a lot, Jabs. I don't know if you got anything to say while we're wrapping it up.
Yeah, no, from my side, I'd just like to say thank you guys so much. It's been great having the yes, I'll get to that as well. Monday, starts on Monday.
Stop eating pies.
Yes, Monday. D, it's been great seeing you. Without you, there's no possums, and it would just be Glenn. That wouldn't be any good. So thank goodness there's you to salvage. And I always say, D, you're my favorite person because we talk about days of our lives anymore. And fancy face, it's been good seeing your fancy face again. And I hope to catch up soon. Vince, don't ever lose your energy. As good as a rugby player as you are, and that's always awesome. And I love your play. You say you like the dog stuff. But for me, what's always stood out is the banter, the funny side, the dancing, the confidence, the swag. I follow you on Instagram and I see all the dance moves and this and that and
There's
the
no
posing.
swag.
And I love that
There's no
stuff.
swag.
No.
He's still learning. He's still learning from me. There's no swag there.
It's been good seeing you, and obviously I love that you're Durban now, and we must definitely meet up, keep scoring tries, and keep making people proud. You're making. I'm so proud to be a part of your story, and long may it continue.
And D, we love your dog that featured there in the...
He's having a great time, sorry.
Nothing wrong, everyone's welcome, even the dogs.
D, at least a free session before I leave for Durban, please.
Yeah, phone me.
All right, guys.
So, sorry about that.
We had a certain part-time boy.
Hold on, Glenn. Am I the only one? Am I the only one that's saying that noise in the background?
I can hear the chimes. Someone's chiming.
Madosh,
Michael, is that you?
Definitely Madosh.
Just mute. It's okay.
Okay, it's fine. We'll edit it. Continue.
Yeah. So